What's up, guys? Today we are here to talk about the ZX636 and the process that vehicle went through. I suggest if you own a 636 to be very, very, very careful on working on it, doing your own work to it, and yeah, 636s, they mechanically they are really good bikes. Electronically, nope. Don't ever mess with the wiring harness on your 636, or you can potentially fry your ECU or fuse box or headlight harness and circuits. It's a long mess. But the 636, I traded that bike. I didn't have any money to put into the bike, and somebody here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, stunts them, so they had a bunch of parts for them, and they were able to fix it. And they traded me a Honda CBR 600. It didn't run at first. It had some issues with the carburetors, and came into some issues with the stators and the ignition pulse coil and things like that. Now the CBR is a little easier to work on. It's a AC CDI. It's pretty self-explanatory. It circulates off the battery from a direct charge and runs off a stator. Now the stator on this bike had some wiring issues, and I fixed that, cleaned it all up, rewired it up, and it's been running great. The CBR has real good. Cleaned the carburetors, blew out all the jets, soldered some wires back together for the ignition coil, and she fires right up. I probably won't be going into depth with this bike because this bike's pretty factory. I mean, yeah, I did a few mods to it to help bring it back to life, not to increase performance. Now, if we wanted to increase performance, I would probably go with the ignition timing. That's for sure. I would definitely go with the ignition timing. That way, when I'm at higher miles an hour, like 100 miles an hour, and I got my ram air here, I don't lose my atmospheric pressure and start to lean out my carburetors. To do that, I think I would retard the timing and make the vehicle ignition less combustible. Not sure, we're getting into a very in-depth subject there, but performance-wise, I would not do anything to this bike. It's a really good bike. It's classic, 25 years old. I just graduated from the Honda program, so this is a nice bike to be able to ride around with and finish out the rest of my schooling. But yeah, pretty much. I know I haven't posted any videos about the Ninja, and that's because I traded the Ninja. The Ninja was an extremely difficult trial and error. Extremely difficult. Mechanic grabbed it from me to try to fix it. I thought maybe he'd have it fixed in a couple days. Something easy. Something I could have had fixed in a couple days out in the parking lot if I had all the tools. But considering I flew from Pennsylvania to Arizona with a suitcase and didn't really have much besides a couple dollars, I didn't have all the tools and accessories and things like that I needed to fix the bike. But it was just a simple timing job that turned into a headlight circuit to a fried computer or a immobilized ignition system. But long story short, with the Ninja, a guy fixed it, got it running, and not even 10 minutes later, apparently it jumped time on him. So the guy who put the cams in didn't do a very good job, or he was just having a hard time, you know, because when you do a timing job and cam chain bolt blows out and you got a manual cam chain tensioner, you're going to stretch that chain and it's not going to be reusable. Now you put an automatic tensioner in it. After you had a manual cam chain tensioner in it, it probably won't last long, and that's probably why it jumped time. Now if you had the manual cam chain tensioner in it, it probably would have been able to be adjusted to where it didn't jump time. But yeah, it's just a lot of work, a lot of maintenance knowledge to those bikes that you have to understand and comprehend to be able to keep the bike running, because that's what you want to do. That Ninja had 40,000 miles on it. This bike behind me, the CBR 600F4i, has 19,000 miles on it. That's freaking awesome if you ask me. This bike, I love this bike. This bike is sweet. Would not trade this bike for anything. I really couldn't. This bike's sweet, dude. Perfect bike to go to work, to go to school, do the business, you know. Yeah, she's got some leaky forks. I'm not really in a position to take the whole front end apart, but the forks are leaky, and that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, she has some scuffs here and some scuffs there. Some things I'll be doing to it, definitely, without a doubt, other than the fork system, unless I get just replacement forks, is these threads here on the clutch cases. They strip pretty easy. This aluminum isn't that tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread insert, chase threads, and re-thread insert the one bolt, because this bolt down here is a little cracked off and it doesn't have any threads to bite into. Another thing I'm doing is I'm going to be fixing the tail light and replacing the handle grips. Those will be some things I may record and post on the channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's probably all I'll do down here in Arizona on this bike. Hopefully I won't have to do anything else. I mean, at 18,000, these things need shim job adjustments. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, just wanted to keep you guys updated on the bikes. Had plenty of opportunities to record and justify what I was working on, but sometimes when you're working on these bikes in your own garage, you get ahead of yourself and you work faster than you intend to, and sometimes life has to take over and, you know, you gotta provide for the life when you need, you know what I mean? Not all the tools are there when you need them. Or you're trying to get the tools and you don't always have the availability to because duty calls somewhere else. But no better way than to start on motorcycles, in my opinion. Vehicles, you'll be able to get more life out of a vehicle than you will a motorcycle, noticeably. Motorcycles require the up and up. They are high performance engines and they always will be. They're not economy. I mean, they are great on gas and they do have a lot of emissions tied into them, but opposed to a 4-cylinder Honda Civic or a 4-cylinder Chevy Sonic, the bikes will require a lot more attention opposed to one of those. But yeah, hopefully I'll do a couple little upgrades to it, you know, have a finished product for you, and hopefully this thing lasts me the next 4 or 5 months while I attend my Yamaha class. And then after Yamaha, it's dyno and chassis. Can't wait for that. Hopefully I learn the most out of Yamaha, because Yamaha I feel like is going to be a more aggressive class opposed to Honda. Honda was extremely long. Honda was dreadful. but it was good. I learned a lot of information. I obtained a CBR through the class, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, if I do anything else, hopefully I get a chance to record it and post it on the channel. Thanks.